Hi everybody, it's Marc Laurenson here from Sydney Astrology School, and thanks for joining me as we continue on through the Neptune in the Houses series. And in this episode, it's episode number 5, we're going to be talking about Neptune in the 10th house. Now, Neptune in the 10th, anything in the 10th house is on a mission. So I just want to bring in a little story from a lady who has Neptune in the 10th house, and that's Oprah Winfrey, a person that most people know very well, not necessarily personally, but definitely publicly, because the 10th house has a lot to do with our public world and our public face. And Oprah was saying that when she was a tiny, tiny little girl, possibly around 5 or 6 years old, she was watching her grandmother hanging washing on the line. She was a maid and she was hanging washing on the line for the people that she worked with. And she said to Oprah, you watch me, Oprah, because this is what you're going to be doing when you become a grown up. You're going to be doing exactly the same as what I'm doing. So take note. And Oprah said, even as a tiny little girl, she was looking at her grandmother and went, that's not what I'm going to be doing. You know, she knew right down in her heart of hearts, right down in her gut, that that wasn't going to be her life. Her life was going to be very, very different to her grandmother's life. She had a vision, you know, even as a young girl, she had something inside of her that was telling her something very, very different. And I want to actually say that people who've got Neptune in the 10th house have this. They have this feeling inside of them that is telling them what to do in life and where to go in life. And it's just a matter of trusting that feeling and following that feeling. So it's kind of like a dream. It's kind of like I have a dream. It's got that feeling of what you dream about. But most of us seem to have dreams. We have these ideas or these fantasies that make us feel and puts a smile on our face, and we think it's just that, you know what I mean? We think it is just a dream. We don't think we could ever turn it into reality or make it into something that we could follow for in a concrete kind of way. But I want to say that Neptune in the 10th house is about that. It is about making those dreams come true, and not just come true, to make it your life. Now, Neptune has got that feeling of needing to detach as well. So I know clients who've actually said to me, I know I need to do something. I know I do have a mission of sorts, but I can't quite grasp it. I can't put my fingers on it, because you know what they're doing and what most of us do, even people without Neptune in the 10th house, we tend to do this. But Neptune in the 10th house people, they immediately go up here. They immediately start to think, what is it I'm supposed to be doing? They sit down with pencil and paper and they get on the internet and they start, they start using the mental side of 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 what uh, of what they're trying to get or try to work out, and it doesn't come from there with Neptune. It never comes from between the ears with Neptune. It is always coming from the inner voice. It's always coming from your inner feelings. It's source. It's the universe that speaks to us from the inside out. That's where Neptune comes from. So if they actually just relax the brain or relax the mind and actually come into a deep, deep kind of trust of a feeling that's, I want to say, is automatically trying to take them to where they need to go, then the boat flows down the river. It flows down the river beautifully. It takes you to exactly what you want in life. But we're so busy with the oars, we're so busy rowing, and generally rowing in the opposite direction, thinking that's where it is. And it's not. It's never there. And so the more we can get out of our own way, as far as, particularly around trying to work it out or get mentally involved in what's going on, the better with Neptune in the 10th house. Now, Neptune in the 10th house, you can have some kind of Neptunian jobs that would fit Neptune in the 10th house. Lots of people with Neptune in the 10th house are very artistic. Often they're very intuitive. They can bring in some kind of spiritual talents or some kind of healing gifts with Neptune in the 10th house. Creativity, artistry, glamour, the glitter, the whole kind of feeling of wanting to be outside of this world in some kind of way, in a Disney-esque kind of flavor. I mean, allow yourself to go there, allow yourself to go into those areas and see what comes up for you. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be kind of working in Disneyland as such, but there could be something in there for you. I always say to people with Neptune in the 10th house, I will often say, what did you want to be when you were a child? What did you want to be when you were 5 years old? Because there's going to be something in that. There is going to be something in what you wanted to do as a child that's going to have it's going to lead somewhere for you. Um, I had one guy say, "Well, I wanted to be an astronaut," so that's not going to happen. And it's kind of like, well, probably not. But there is something about that feeling of being an astronaut, that feeling of being free, that feeling of being off the planet, outside the planet that he's looking for. And if he goes down that road, he started working on the sea. He started working on the water in boats, in ships, which took him off land, which took him off the earth, basically. And Neptune is water. Neptune's about water. So you find a lot of Neptunian people loving working on water, or at least being in that environment in some kind of way. So another Neptunian 10th house person is Princess Diana. She's a she's kind of a classic Neptunian type, isn't she? Because there was something about her. She was the queen of hearts, the princess of hearts, and everybody loved her. So she had that Neptunian kind of quality in the house, the public house, the 10th house, that people were drawn to. She was very charitable. She was very compassionate. She opened her heart to the world. And she also was a princess, which for a lot of people is a kind of a Disney-esque kind of figure. But she exemplified the more soulful and the more spiritual kind of qualities of Neptune in the 10th house, which I think a lot of people do have. They don't have to actually go as far as what Princess Diana did, but there always has to be a feeling of being able to put some form of compassion and some form of heart into the job that you're doing. I always think if Neptune in the 10th house goes out to have a mission or to have a role, that's just about uh, getting your immediate greedy needs met, making lots of money just for yourself and other fat cats. I feel that Neptune in the 10th house will always feel like things never really come together for you. They always feel elusive, or they always feel like they slip through your fingers. There's always that feeling of it not being right, and it can lead to I want to say disappointment, and for some people depression, because what's happening here is you're starving your soul. Your soul is being malnourished because your mission in life, where you're supposed to be going in life, the mountain you're supposed to be climbing in life, has to has to appease what your soul wants to do. And this doesn't necessarily mean it has to be charity. It just means that it has to come into alignment with what makes you feel really, really good inside. And I feel that when you're not doing that, you will feel it. You will definitely feel it. The thing I want to talk about mostly with Neptune in the 10th house is you have to be careful of sacrificing yourself in work or even sacrificing your work. You know what I mean? There's something about sacrificing your own goals, your own dreams, your own achievements or ambition for something or somebody else. Family, husband, money's a big one. All those other things that could get in the way of you not really fulfilling a part of a deep, uh, a deep part, a deep, sensitive, soulful part of why you're here on the planet. And there's nothing holy about there's nothing holy about sacrifice. I know that a lot of religions have kind of tried to make it holy, but there is, as far as Neptune is concerned, there's nothing holy about sacrificing yourself. There is a lot of holy stuff about being able to be there and a giving and compassionate heart, but not at the expense of your own needs. Now, Neptune, I want to say, is is so automatically it's like it's the energy is so vibrationally there for us. It's so on our side, and it wants to flow naturally in the direction of what we want and what we need. And I feel that if you do trust that, because Neptune is an extreme version of trust with Neptune. There's something about faith with Jupiter, but Neptune goes even further than that. Neptune actually believes in something it really can't see. And for for you to be guided by Neptune, you do have to have this total faith in where life wants to take you. And Oprah had this. Oprah Winfrey had this, even from a little child. But even as she got older, she knew that, you know, she got into reporting and she knew that wasn't who she was. And she just trusted. She just trusted her intuition. She trusted her gut to flow in the direction of where she honestly believed it wanted to take her. And that's what we have to do with Neptune in the 10th house. We now have to open ourselves up to this kind of faith in life that we know what we want. We know what we want. We might not be able to put it into words or sentences, but we definitely know the feeling about it or around it. And if we go out with this kind of open, trusting, just take me, just guide me, I want to actually say, my path is in your hands because you and I have kind of written it together, so we know it already, then there is something about us just automatically flowing to who we need to be and where we need to go.